What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pro League coverage here at MLG.tv. Puckett and Benson tonight. And we honestly have probably the best night of Pro League to cast out of any of them this week.
Good. It's actually good. I'm actually getting more and more excited as we get close to game number 1.
Oh, yeah.
It should be interesting as well. We have Xbox One and a scuf giveaway all in one.
Yeah, so Xbox One, much love to our friends over at Microsoft. All of this month's remaining Pro League days are going to be sponsored by Xbox One, official console of MLG. And to celebrate, we're giving away an Xbox One a day. Yesterday,
pretty cool.
My social media guy blundered. We forgot to tweet it out last night.
Nice.
He fell asleep during the denial matchup, and the Envy matchup, but it doesn't matter. I got the winner, and I'm ready to announce it. Yesterday's winner, Tropic LSE from Los Angeles. He picked Team Caliber. Everyone else going with Envy. TK ends up taking it in game number 5. Tropic LSE is today's Xbox One winner. But as you mentioned today, Ben, we have another Xbox One to give away.
We do.
We also got our scuf gift card and scuf controller to give away.
We do. One of these beautiful controllers, I believe. Brand new, blackout, looking just so good. Yours is right there.
Where's the white one?
Oh, you want the white one?
Yeah, where's the white one? I was going to ask you, man. Who's your...
Oh!
Which one's your favorite? Of course, tonight, the Scuf Gaming Showdown is between number 2 seeded Denial, and Envy, who is trying to stay in the top 6, but struggling so far. Temp versus JCap, a good matchup to watch in this one. And Ben, I got to ask you, if you were winning the Scuf Gaming Showdown giveaway tonight, would you go with the black or the white Xbox?
100%. Look at it.
Black?
Look at it. It's like a blackout. It's like, it's so smooth. You got the MLG logo looking crisp.
I'm going...
Really?
I'm going all whitey.
But it's not all white, though. It has the blue, it has the red.
Probably because I designed that one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I gave Pete a lot of
feedback. No wonder I don't like it.
Exactly.
That explains
That's why it's as good-looking as it possibly could be. Tonight's schedule, if you guys missed the pre-show, here's a look at what's going to happen a little bit later on. Our first matchup, Juggernaut fight here, Optic Gaming versus Elevate. Elevate looking pretty strong after re-adding TJ to the lineup. Optic Gaming, though, the #1 team in Pro League so far, looking to stay undefeated tonight. But then we have probably the closest match of the evening happening at 7:10. That is Denial facing off against Envy.
I'm excited for that one. Envy still yet to drop an uplink throughout the season, so expect to see that continue when they go up against Denial. I believe it's going to be another Parliament uplink in their favor as well. One of Octane's best map. I think he's going to lock that down. Then at 8:20, FaZe go up against TCM. I don't think that's going to be as easy as a lot of people think.
I do.
This is really? You think that's going to be 3-0?
Yeah. Everyone's really high on TCM. This is a team that lost in Game 5 to TK last week. They beat Denial in a Game 5 last week, so I guess that's the upside of TCM. They're way too inconsistent for FaZe. FaZe is just looking like a lights-out caliber squad.
I think that goes Game 4.
Maybe.
You have 2 plays in a team house. If TCM, I mean, they're the away team here.
You're going to outshoot Zuma? I'll have to wait and see that one.
Well, we'll see. I think, honestly, that's going to be more like a 3-1 in favor of FaZe. I don't think TCM win by any means. The game, which really is a toss-up, or at least I thought was going to be a toss-up going into yesterday when I made my prediction, is going to be that 9:30 p.m. game. Rise versus Orbit. A couple of team changes.
Huge team changes. Yeah. Involving the 2 teams that are playing tonight.
Yeah. I mean, who do you think kind of came out on top?
Well, for those of you guys who missed it, last night we saw Orbit and Rise Nation make a trade right before the matches kicked off. Burns leaving Orbit, coming over to Rise in exchange for TCM. And this is 2 submachine gun players, aggressive subs that you compare side by side. Burns wasn't really meshing in with that Orbit crew. And
you could kind of tell things weren't going well.
I think TCM, he's really easy to get along with. At least that seems to be the vibe that I'm getting, looking at all the teams he's played with in the last 3 months. I think Orbit's going to be happy with it. They didn't look incredible last night, though. Elevate handed them a quick 3-0.
Oh,
if I remember quick. Yeah, correct.
Wow.
So I think Rise Nation's my team to watch in this. Apathy, Burns.
You have Rise to win.
That's some explosive SMGs.
I don't know, because we looked at some of the stats from the quarter, and it was Burns leading with hardpoint caps, and everyone was like, oh yeah, he's like such an aggressive sub, he's always, jumping on the hardpoint, he's doing everything, but it doesn't really tell you the full story. Just because someone's capping the hardpoint, I mean, I could just jump in the hill and jump straight out the hill. It doesn't really tell you much. It's how correspondent the caps are to the defense as well. Burns, I don't know, I feel like he's changed his playstyle so much that he's kind of become more of just a roaming slayer. So I'm curious to see exactly what he's going to be doing for that team.
He's going to be killing things. He's going to have to kill a lot of things.
He's been playing out of his mind on this game. This is by far and away the best game I've ever seen Burns play on. So props to him for that. But, you know, team change, new team, both those teams going up against each other. Last game of the day as well. Should be a good one.
Who got the better part of the trade? That's what we're going to find out tonight. Rise versus Orbit at 9:30. But here's a look at how our teams stand coming into the evening. Optic Gaming, as we touched on it, 6-0. They've won 75% of the maps they've played. Very impressive stat line across the top. Denial, 6-1. Questionable win against FaZe. We'll have to decide later in the season if that is going to be replayed or if that standing will stay. As of now, Denial holds the win. That separates them from 2 and 3. But then as we go through, you see Envy. Started off pretty strong. Looked like a top 4 threat, maybe even a top 3 threat. They continued to struggle last night. Some internet issues for Aqua and Octane resulted in a TK win. And now FaZe is sitting at 4 and 4. Elevate has broken onto our first card, though. They've been sitting on card 2 for a while in that 7th to 12th spot. Now they're jumped up into our top 6, sitting at 3 and 3. This would be a massive win if they could beat Optic Gaming here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely would. Whether that's possible or not, we'll have to wait and see. Looking over at the second card, though, TK still in the top 8 with a 4 and 4 record. Isolation in 8th at 3 and 4. And then this is where you see the bottom 4 teams in a little bit of danger area. TCM at 2 and 3, Orbit 3 and 5. I think the win really for them is massive, especially when you see the gap between 10th and 11th, 1 and 5, and then Epsilon at an 0 and 7 start. We kind of worked it out, me and JP, before we went live. Essentially, what Epsilon need to do to have any chance of qualifying is going 10 and 5 in the next games.
10 and 5
in the next 15 games. Bear in mind, 5 of those games were against Optic. They have to play twice. FaZe they have to play, and Denial they have to play.
You got this, Epsilon.
So they have to win basically every other game they play outside of the top 3 teams. I hate to be that guy, but I put money on them already being out.
Wow.
You can't
We're
start
a quarter away through the season. Ben's being like, you done. You haven't won a game in the first quarter.
That's like an 0 and 14 start from last season.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal. 1 and 5, not much better for Rise Nation. This is a massive matchup for them to win. If you see Orbit winning tonight, same argument can be made. Is Rise Nation done before the season's even at the halfway point?
It's weird to say, but again, like the statistics don't lie. We looked at the very beginning of the season of like the worst starts in Pro League history, and well, congratulations, Epsilon, you've got it. And Rise not too far away from having 2nd place in worst starts Pro League history. It's very, very tough when you're only playing, 50% of the games you're used to playing in the season. Everything becomes so much more important, and you need to pick up those wins, especially when you're going up against a team who's right above you. For Rise, this game is so crucial.
Guys in the chat, let us know. What are your predictions for tonight's matchups? Here's a look at what us casters said is going to happen. Elevate versus Optic Gaming. I mean, honestly, you're making a mistake if you're rooting against Optic Gaming at this point. This squad has just been so dominant. A few scares. Envy took them to a Game 5 on night 1 of the Pro League, but since then, Optic's been cruising. I
mean, people have been kind of freaking out. I was on the Optic subreddit, on the COD Competitive subreddit as well, and people saying, oh, Optic, they don't look good. S&D is definitely the weak point. Like, Mr. X was doing some notes. He was like, yeah, they don't need to panic right now. It's like, well, why would a team who's unbeaten in the Pro League be panicking?
Right.
Like, even if they are having issues with player roles, which a couple of people have been trying to suggest with Karma and Crim6, switching and swapping, they're still unbeaten. Like, they haven't lost yet.
It's not broken. You lost 1 LAN event, and outside of that, you have a perfect record since champs.
It's people just kind of getting a little bit too worried. The next game, though, interestingly, you went with Envy, where everyone else went with the Wolfpack.
Yep. This one...
You still confident about that one? Because you could break away. You could go way into the lead tonight. This is a big night.
Yeah, this is a huge night for me. Honestly, this matchup, I look at it and I think, okay, Denial's the clear favorite, just looking statistically. But I look at the way they've played recently. Denial couldn't hang with FaZe back at UMG Dallas.
Okay.
When they play a top team, that's when they struggle most. Against anyone below them. After that Tier 1, Denial just crushes through you. But I think Envy is the one squad underneath the top 3 that could contend with any of those top 3. And I think if you get Octane and Aqua from start to finish in this entire match, they can test and they can definitely beat Denial. I think they can beat them in Search and Destroy, which is Denial's superior game mode. I think they can hang in all the hard points, and Envy definitely has the stronger uplink game.
Oh, without a doubt.
So I'm going game 3, so they're going to force at least a second hard point. They win one of those 2 hard points. It goes to a game 5, worst case scenario in my eyes.
Okay.
And then we're going to see a 50-50 coin flip that Envy totally is capable of winning. But it looks like our first match is ready to go. My other big upset, I called Rise over Orbit. We'll find out how wrong I am on that one.
I don't think that's an upset. I think you got that one spot on. I think you take the lead tonight, which pains me to say. But I think you do. I think where you could potentially slip, though, is that second game. But back to the first game, Optic versus Elevate. Interestingly to note, hosting, Optic is going to have 1, 2, and 5.
Right.
Now,
so Elevate not picking to host the first hard point.
Doesn't surprise me at all. It's Hardpoint retreat. What's the point? Let's be honest.
So you're calling this game in Optic's favor before it even begins?
Yeah, of course. It's Hardpoint retreat. I'd be very surprised if they let it slip. And also, in Elevate's favor as well, is the next Hardpoint is going to be Compound.
Right.
Which I think massively kind of favors that playstyle of just so aggressive. Gotta love the SMG play that they're going to have. You've been kind of praising TJ all season long.
I like the kid a lot.
That's a map where I think he can really do some damage. Slacked as well. But of course, they're going to have to get that first. And the first hardpoint underway. TJ on your screens.
Here's a look at him, and he is opening up with Bal in hand, doing some nice damage. 2 kills, going for 3 in a row before dying. So they outslay Optic Gaming in your first minute here. And you can see already a 13-second and growing advantage. But as soon as Optic takes map control, expect that number to be tied up pretty quickly. TJ trying to contest, but already Formal's inside the hard point. Bal is out for OG. This could get scary here with Crim starting to heat up.
Well, let's have a look at Crimsix. He's going to be on the hard point. Needs to be careful, though, because the Elevate players are trying to flank around the outside to get that good spawn. With 6 seconds left on the hill, it's going to be contested, and Crim should be able to clean up that with the help of Formal. However, though, Elevate do have the favored spawns going into total hardpoint. Yeah,
nice job rotating back. It looks like Saints was kind of leading that charge in the back area. He's out with the bow, and Elevate, they got to hold here. This is one of the hard points that Optic can just trounce you on. Once they get top control and then watch that pool wall, there's no breaking their setup. So you got to get in there early and cause some chaos. TJ doing a nice job holding down the attic, but Formal is threatening from this pool wall while Optic's getting in position. Elevate continues to score, though, Ben. They still hold on to a double lead over Optic Gaming.
Yeah, this is something that's very strange about the way Optic Gaming play Hardpoint Retreat. The first kind of rotation of hills, it's very just keep it close. And then the second rotation is when they really kind of put their foot on the gas pedal, so to speak, and just start to excel away. And you can kind of see that pretty slow start, really, from Optic. Yeah, scum. That just happened. Although he's completely missed the Elevate player lying on the floor. Teammate's going to clean him up. Final 10 seconds, looking as if it could potentially go to TJ. Karma with the bow, not able to get anything going. He's been pretty much scrutinized by a lot of Optic Gaming fans for his recent performances, not putting up the digits people expect a 2-time world champion to do, whether that's just roles or maybe just not playing that well right now. I think bad performances do happen. I mean, you played at a very high level. Sometimes you're just not shooting right. Sometimes
you just have a bad weekend, but to have a bad season is really kind of unheard of. You don't see kind of consistent struggles. Karma's starting off 5-11, definitely a bit of concern in the community right now, but you and I know his potential. I think at any time Karma can just flip that switch and go totally into beast mode.
That's the thing I love about Karma, right? He could, go, let's say 20 and 40 in map number 1, then he could be around 11 SMD. He's like, 1v2, 1v3, and he'll clutch it. Like, he has so much ability that it really doesn't matter. I think looking at just the numbers is pretty naive. You need to look at the team performance as a whole, and as long as the team is winning, that's all that really matters. And right now, as we kind of touched on, undefeated in the Pro League. However, Elevate going hard in map number 1.
How about that off-host lead here from Elevate? Classic, doing exactly what you need from him. You need him to be kind of your main slayer. 17 and 10, already 5 captures. He's getting it all done with the AR. They're not going full SMGs on Optic Gaming here. You can see they want to do a lot of long-range battling. Slacked pulling out the SMG for this lower hardpoint, and honestly, this is where I'm a little bit scared for this Elevate squad. They got to set up stronger with their ARs. Otherwise, Formal can absolutely take this bottom hardpoint over. But I keep looking at the minimap. How is Elevate able to push Optic Gaming so far off of every spawn?
It's just those long-range gunfights. Like you kind of mentioned, they're making sure that they pick up the kills on Formal, and the SMG's just pushing through, blocking out those spawns. So, as you kind of touched on, those blue arrows spawning so far away, and they're just not able to really get any control on this bar hardpoint. Looking at Formal's perspective now, though, he does pick up a couple of kills in quick succession. Scumpy, he's going to fall as well, and really, Classic and Saints just running amok right now on this bar hill.
originally, I thought this squad was so stacked when they had Apathy and Saints on the lineup. Pretty quickly, they decided to part ways with Apathy, and I think it was just a lack of objective work. They bring TJ back in. TJ hasn't necessarily put up all the numbers that would suggest he's a pure OBJ player, but Elevate just seems much more comfortable. And honestly, I'm seeing better slaying games out of Classic once again after Apathy's departure.
Yeah, you will do, and I think that was something that really Classic and Slack talked about after UMG was, all right, the roles of the team, on paper it looks great, but is it really going to work? And I just think it wasn't, and that's just unfortunate. You know, Apathy and Saints, you have to look at one of the two that you're going to kind of drop. And I think you have to keep Saints every single time.
Saints unable to break the top here as Optic Gaming trying to mount their comeback. 3 straight kills in the feed. You see Crim6 and Karma locking it down. Missed shot there by Classic is going to result in scuf picking up another one. Karma, plenty of help as they are going to get a full 60 potentially up top here. Karma will fall. Finally, it's broken, but it took 50 points for Elevate to get in there and start causing some damage. Saints still, though, holding on to +9. Classic, he was 17 and 10 just a few moments ago. Desperately slow it down. 21 and 18 at this point in the game.
Yeah, he slowed down, but Saints definitely hasn't. 26 kills at the half. That's ridiculous. Like, you just look at the kills that Elevate are putting up. Slack 21, Classic 21, Optic just being outslayed, to be honest. And that's something as they go into the second rotation of Hardpoints, they're going to look at trying to fix. And it's very strange watching them play Retreat. Like I said, the first kind of rotation of Hills is just, can we stay in touch? The second rotation is just completely outslaying and just a lot more points than their opposition. I think we may see that here already on the first hill.
Karma has found his groove as well. I mean, he was 4 and 11 at one point. Now he's almost back to even. Going to be -2 after that death. But you see the scoreboard. It's definitely changing back in favor of the green wall. As I say it, everyone's going to get dropped, and then Formal and Karma clear it right back out. So back and forth, the action continues here in our second half. We're down to our last 4 minutes. Final 4 hard points. Formal getting set up top to protect this turtle hill is going to be met by 2 challengers, but scuf and Crim killing everything before Formal can get eyes on an enemy.
Yeah, there's just so many kills going down, and you can see Karma kind of watching the flank. Formal's going to challenge that kill. There's one. He's going to know the second is there. Karma should be able to trade that kill because the player was one shot. I say that, but finally it does come in, and Optic Gaming now just, what, 15 points away from tying up this game, and Elevate getting a bit of a split spawn now. One player over towards poolside. That's going to be TJ, and TJ really key here. If Elevate's going to pinch this hard point correctly, should be able to trade the kill on the hill. There's one, and just like that, Elevate break Turtle Hill.
It's only a 10-point game now, though, and you're going to see Slacked in the kill feed doing a lot of the damage. Classic, even at this point, Saints back on top. Look for Slacked and TJ, though, to be the key players, I think, coming into this next one. You look at the mini-map, Optic Gaming is going to be set up for the rotation first. They have a player who's just sitting in courtyard. I believe that's Formal holding down the spawns. And now they will have the setup as the hardpoint rotates. 27-point advantage, though, for Elevate after Optic gave up that Turtle Hill.
Saints has just gone so big. He just picked up a 2-piece on the rotation of hardpoints, and that was something that Optic really needed to do well on. They've given up so much time at the end of Turtle that rotating to this next hardpoint was crucial for them, but Saints shutting them down. He's now 34 and 25, having a phenomenal game. Optic still trailing, but now only by 20.
Classic getting airborne, gonna finish that one. He's fighting for control of the back spawns. Karma trying to stop him, picks up 1. Saints, Slacked, and TJ all hit the hard point at the same time, though Crim's gonna have his hands full. Can't handle it here. Now here comes scuf. Scuf finds 1 a second. Formal assisting into the action, but Optic Gaming failing to lock down this hard point like they're used to. Great pressure being thrown at them by Elevate.
Yeah, Saints again. He's about to drop his nearly 40th kill of the game with still 2 minutes left. Could potentially be seeing a record for hardpoint kills from Season 3 in the making. I want to see exactly how he's going to play this one. The assist is going to come in first, but knows that Elevate pretty much have control of the good spawn here, so he's going to try and push through, and he's going to have 3 Optic players directly in front of him. Saints could get a 3-piece here. That's 1. Can't find the second or third. 3 plays from Elevate full. Scumpy now on the hardpoint.
Saints is on this flank, but the pressure from the front can't hold. It's Optic Gaming inside. Scuf's about to tie up our score here. 1 point separates these 2 squads in the final 90 seconds. It's do or die time right here for Elevate. They gotta milk up this final hill before rotating to the attic, and you're gonna see Crim continuing to contest, just trying to stop the bleeding. Elevate's gonna pull out to a lead here. Final 20 seconds. Optic Gaming has to keep going down for the contest. And Scumpy doing a great job maneuvering past those grenades, picks up the assist. Crim6 clearing up everyone. Tie game once again in our final 60 seconds.
Elevate's done really well though there. They just pushed straight through the middle of the map to control that last hard point. They're more than okay to give up that scrap time. They held and contested that second to last just so much that now they should have pretty much a perfect setup. You've got Saints on the hard point where you want them to be. 41 and 32. Classic at 40 and 31 as well. Those two are going to be huge if they need to continue this whole momentum they've had for this entire game on this last hill. This is so important. The game pretty much tied.
Saints missing a big fight there. It's Crim6 trying to break the top. He's going to fall. Now Scumpy challenging. 3-point advantage for Elevate. Huge kills from Scumpy. Picks up 2. Looking for the third down low. He's continuing to rack up time. He falls though. In comes Karma. Crim6. The pressure from Elevate being met by ASM1s at the front door. They have no access to the back. No flank. And now you're going to see Optic Gaming, Ben, lock it up. 13 seconds left. They have more than that. Optic Gaming in your final hard point. Going to take it over, form with the 3-piece.
Yeah, and I think Elevate's going to be extremely upset with that. Classic 43 and 34. Saints 43 kills as well. And that final hill, where you needed them to go off. You needed them to continue the momentum they had from all the other hard points, just unable to do it. Optic get that perfect setup, and Formal breaks him with the 3-piece to close out. A great performance from Optic, but it was not as easy as I honestly thought it should have been.
That was pretty scary. Honestly, I thought Elevate was going to be able to finish that. As you said, they were set up first. They had control. You had Saints and Classic dropping
the difference in the numbers.
40 bombs.
That's crazy.
What's the difference here? Let's look at the stats one more time here, guys. Here's a look. You got +9 coming out of Classic. Saints is going to drop +8. So positive 17 there, -1, 16. Then, of course, you got 5 more. So positive 10. You outslay Optic Gaming. You only allow Karma to go positive. Karma, who started off so negative, remember, but you still dropped the game. What went wrong for Elevate, Ben?
It's just that final hill. They rotated so early, and they kind of played it so scared. No one wanted to push out the hill when they knew where Optic was going to come from. If they played that a little bit more aggressive and won that first wave, they win the game. Simple as that.
Have to say, we all thought this would be a pretty easy matchup for Optic Gaming.
Easy.
Elevate looking very strong off host in game number 1. They do drop it, but they have a chance to tie things up. Search and Destroy is coming up next. We'll find out, can they win off host against Optic Gaming? The map will be Solar.